Welcome to the Stoic Tide. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that everything in your life, your words, your emotions, your money, your thoughts, have been running you, not the other way around. You speak before thinking, you feel before choosing, you spend before planning, and your mind, it drags you through storms you didn't sign up for. That's how most people live. Not free, but ruled by impulse. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine you wake up and every word, every emotion, every decision bends to your will. No chaos, no loss of control. Just quiet, unshakable strength. Sounds like fantasy. 2,000 years ago, a man born into slavery proved it wasn't. His name was Epictetus, and he discovered a kind of freedom that no master could take. Not freedom of movement, but freedom of mind. The kind that no one can buy and no one can steal. Epictetus had chains on his wrists, but not on his thoughts. He couldn't choose his master, his food, or his shelter, but he could choose his response. And that single truth made him more powerful than the men who owned him. He realized something we've forgotten. You can lose everything and still never be a slave if you own your reactions. That's the battle you face today, not against other people, but against your own impulses. You get angry. You gossip. You spend recklessly. You scroll endlessly and you call it normal. It's not normal. It's mental slavery. Every time you react instead of respond, you hand over your freedom. Every time you say, "That's just how I am," you chain yourself tighter. The modern world doesn't need whips and chains to control you. It just needs distractions and emotions you never learned to master. Epictetus knew this truth. No one can hurt you without your consent. That's not comfort. That's command. You might not live in a cage, but look closer. Your mind is full of invisible locks. You explode when someone disrespects you. You drain your paycheck chasing validation. You let one thought ruin your whole day. That's not freedom. That's conditioning. And the worst part, you've accepted it. You think being emotional is being real, that reacting fast means being strong, that spending means living. But those are traps. You're not reacting. You're being controlled. Every advertisement, every argument, every scroll is designed to hijack your attention and keep you weak. The Stoics saw this thousands of years ago. They didn't just talk about peace. They trained for it like warriors. They built strength where others wasted energy. In their responses, Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but fought the same battle you do. To master the self before the world. Control isn't about perfection. It's about power through awareness. There are 4 areas where most people lose themselves: the mouth, the mood, the money, and the mind. Master these and you'll dominate your inner world no matter what happens outside it. Fail and you'll stay enslaved, polite, productive, and miserable. Every word you speak can build or destroy your future. Every emotion you feed can lift or break you. Every dollar you spend is a vote for your values or your weakness. And every thought you entertain shapes the life you're living right now. The Stoics didn't waste time chasing luxury or comfort. They pursued control because control is peace. Control is freedom. Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus, they weren't born strong. They became strong by mastering what most men ignore. You want to be free? Start here. The battle for your life begins in these 4 pillars. Your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind. Win these and nothing can shake you. Your mouth is the gatekeeper of your destiny. Every word that leaves it either earns respect or destroys it. Most people speak to be heard. The wise speak to have impact. You say things in anger and then drown in regret. You talk to fill silence instead of using silence as power. Seneca warned that the tongue is a wild beast. He was right. One careless sentence can ruin your reputation, your relationships, even your peace at Ver. But mastery begins with awareness. The Stoics practice pausing, a sacred breath between thought and speech. In that pause, you decide whether your words will serve or sabotage you. Before you speak, ask, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If not, stay silent. The pause is your weapon, because in a world of noise, silence is dominance. Every word you release should serve a purpose. Speak less, mean more, control your mouth, and you start controlling your life. You think silence is weakness because you've been trained to fear stillness. But silence is a weapon in the hands of the disciplined. It's what separates the wise from the impulsive, the powerful from the loud. When you pause before you speak, you don't suppress emotion, you command it. You take the raw chaos inside and forge it into clarity. Every second you hold back gives you dominance over yourself. The Stoics knew that once words are released, they can't be recalled like arrows. They either strike truth or wound your own integrity. Mastering your mouth isn't just about avoiding harm. It's about using language as a tool of leadership. When you speak with restraint, people lean in. When you choose your words with purpose, you become magnetic. Restraint isn't weakness. It's control disguised as calm. Remember this. Power doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just stays quiet long enough to be respected. Every word you speak carries energy. It either builds your strength or drains it. The undisciplined use language like a weapon against themselves. They gossip. They complain. They curse their own potential with sentences like, I can't, I'm tired, I'm not enough. You become what you repeatedly say. The Stoics understood this deeply. That speech is self-programming. When you speak words of discipline, gratitude, and truth, you train your mind to operate from power, not fear. But when your tongue runs wild, your mind follows. Each careless statement strengthens weakness. That's why Marcus Aurelius wrote daily reminders to himself, not because he was unsure, but because he knew the human mind forgets strength if it isn't spoken. So start declaring mastery. Speak as if your words create worlds. Because they do. The man who commands his speech commands his direction. Every sentence is a sword. Sharpen it wisely. From this moment on, you speak with purpose, not noise. For the next 7 days, I want you to observe your speech like a soldier on guard duty. Every time you open your mouth, pause for 3 breaths. First breath, recognize what you feel. Second breath, consider what the other person might feel. Third breath, choose the words that build, not break. That's the Stoic way. Power through presence. You'll notice something incredible happen. People will start listening differently. They'll sense your control. Your words will hit deeper because they're not emotional reflexes. They're deliberate strikes. This isn't manipulation. It's mastery. The disciplined voice becomes a beacon of respect in a world full of noise. Remember, leadership begins in language. Every controlled sentence strengthens your reputation. Every kept promise builds self-trust. Speak less, mean more, and let your silence carry authority louder than your voice ever could. Your emotions are storms, but you are not the storm. You are the sky behind it, constant, vast, untouched. The average person doesn't know this. They wake up happy and one text ruins their day. They feel powerful in the morning and one insult destroys it. That's not living. That's emotional slavery. The Stoics taught that emotion isn't the enemy. The lack of control is between what happens and how you react. There is a gap, and inside that gap lives your power. Viktor Frankl called it the space between stimulus and response. The Stoics called it discipline of desire. You can't control what happens, but you can always control your internal weather. Anger, sadness, fear. They're signals, not dictators. The weak obey them. The strong observe them. You want peace. Stop being owned by every passing mood. Learn to feel everything but be mastered by nothing. Every time something triggers you, you're standing at a fork in the road. One path is reaction, fast, emotional, destructive. The other is response, calm, strategic, powerful. Most people sprint down the first path without even realizing it. They call it being honest or just expressing themselves. But in truth, they're bleeding discipline all over the floor. The Stoic knows better. He pauses, he breathes. He steps into that sacred space between impulse and action. And in that moment, he becomes untouchable, because whoever controls their emotions controls the room. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, it is not the thing itself, but your judgment of it. That's your battlefield, your interpretation. Master that, and the world loses its power over you. Control your reactions and you stop living like prey. You become the predator of your own emotions. Silent, focused, deliberate. You've been lied to. Society tells you that expressing your emotions is healthy, but uncontrolled expression is chaos disguised as truth. Anger unleashed destroys trust. Sadness indulged becomes identity. Fear entertained becomes habit. You think you're being real, but you're just being ruled. The Stoics didn't suppress emotion. They refined it. They turned raw energy into discipline. When you feel anger, use it to reveal what boundary was crossed. When you feel fear, use it to identify where you lack preparation. When you feel sadness, use it to remember what matters most. Emotions are information, not instruction. You don't obey them. You study them. Because once you understand an emotion, it can't control you anymore. Emotional mastery isn't coldness. It's clarity. It's being able to feel deeply but respond wisely. You want real strength. Learn to stay calm when your instincts scream for chaos. Every trigger in your life is a test. A chance to practice control. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That's not an insult. It's training. A coworker disrespects you. That's not offense. It's opportunity. The Stoics didn't pray for calm seas. They trained to stand firm in storms. Marcus Aurelius woke each morning reminding himself that he'd meet the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, and he met them with composure. Why? Because he had already decided who he would be before the day began. That's emotional armor. You don't need a perfect day to have peace. You need mastery. The next time your temper flares, remember the test has arrived. This is your rep. This is your gym. Every reaction you control is a muscle built in the mind. And when that muscle is strong, no insult, no delay, no disappointment can throw you off balance. At night, when the weak scroll to escape their thoughts, the strong reflect to sharpen them. The Stoics practiced evening review, a ritual of accountability. Seneca would ask himself, what did I do well today? What did I fail to control? What will I do better tomorrow? No excuses, no hiding, just raw truth and refinement. You want emotional discipline. Audit your day like a warrior checks his armor. Where did anger win? Where did fear speak louder than reason? Where did peace prevail? Write it down. Because what you don't confront, you repeat. Over time, this habit turns chaos into clarity. You'll start catching emotional triggers earlier, cutting them off before they explode. Control isn't built in comfort. It's forged in reflection. The undisciplined repeat their reactions. The disciplined review them and evolve. This is how Stoics turned emotions from weakness into weapon. When you master your mood, you become the calm center of every storm. Chaos no longer pulls you in. It orbits around you. People feel it. They sense your composure and subconsciously trust it. That's why emotional control is the ultimate leadership skill. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And here's the truth. People follow calm strength, not loud emotion. The Stoic doesn't explode when provoked or fold when things fall apart. He pauses, he calculates, and he acts from principle, not impulse. His emotions become servants, not masters. You must train this daily through resistance, discomfort, and self-awareness. You don't wait for peace to appear. You build it through practice. So the next time life tests you, don't say, why me? Say, perfect training time. Each trial refines your emotional armor until nothing outside can pierce it. That's real control. That's real power. Money is not paper. It's proof of discipline. It exposes your habits, your desires, and your self-control. Look at your spending and you'll see your mindset. The Stoics never worshipped wealth, but they respected it as a tool, a mirror that reveals your values. Seneca was one of the richest men in Rome, yet he practiced sleeping on the floor and eating plain food. Why? To prove to himself that comfort didn't control him. That's real freedom. Most people are slaves to their cravings. They chase every impulse, then wonder why peace escapes them. You can't master life if your wallet rules you. Every dollar you spend is either strengthening your future or feeding your weakness. Stop buying distraction. Stop using money to numb pain. Use it to build purpose. When you control your finances, that you control your focus. And focus is the foundation of freedom. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a control problem. They buy to feel alive. They spend to escape boredom, loneliness, or fear. Every impulsive purchase is an emotional reaction disguised as rewarding yourself. You don't own that item. It owns a piece of your discipline. Seneca warned, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor." You don't need more income. You need fewer cravings. Every time you spend without intention, you're trading future freedom for a few seconds of dopamine. That's not luxury. That's slavery. That money should serve your purpose, not your pain. Before you buy, ask yourself, am I feeding my ego or my mission? One answer liberates you. The other traps you. The Stoic approach is simple. Use money. Don't be used by it. Because control isn't about deprivation, it's about direction. Here's a Stoic exercise that will change your relationship with money. Track not just what you spend, but why you spend. Create 3 columns: purchase, reason, emotion, after. You'll see patterns you didn't know existed. The things you buy to impress others. They'll leave you feeling empty. The things that align with your growth. Books, tools, knowledge, they'll leave you fulfilled. Money reveals truth faster than words. When you're bored, you buy entertainment. When you're insecure, you buy status. When you're disciplined, you invest in yourself. That's how you turn currency into clarity. Seneca practiced voluntary discomfort, living simply to prove that luxury wasn't a need, just a choice. Do the same. Spend one weekend without indulgence. Eat plain food, wear old clothes, and sit with your thoughts. You'll realize freedom begins where unnecessary desire ends. Every dollar saved is a victory of will over weakness. Wealth isn't about stacking coins. It's about stacking options. Real freedom isn't owning things. It's owning your time. When you control your money, you control how your days are spent, who you work for, and what kind of life you build. The Stoics saw money as a preferred indifference, useful but never defining. It's better to have it than not, but only if it doesn't have you. The problem today isn't poverty, it's attachment. You fear losing what you never truly owned. Seneca could dine with emperors or sleep on the ground, and he was the same man in both places. That's balance. That's mastery. Wealth is not what's in your account. It's what you can walk away from without fear. Every financial decision should serve your values, not your vanity. Stop chasing status. Start building stability. Money doesn't make the man. It reveals the discipline behind the mask. Every impulsive purchase is weakness disguised as pleasure. The strong delay, the weak indulge. That's the brutal truth. Stoic money mastery is not about being cheap. It's about being strategic. When you delay gratification, you strengthen the same mental muscle that guards your emotions and your focus. Each time you resist buying what you don't need, you train yourself to prioritize purpose over pleasure. That's why wealth and wisdom grow together. Both require restraint. The man who cannot wait will always work for the man who can. The Stoics practice self-denial not to suffer but to sharpen their will. Try this. When you want to buy something unnecessary, wait 72 hours. If the desire fades, you've exposed impulse. If it stays, it's probably value. This small act builds a habit that translates into every part of your life. The power to pause financially becomes the power to pause emotionally. Your financial habits are a reflection of your inner discipline. A man who can't control his wallet can't control his world. Money doesn't change you, it exposes you. Give a fool wealth and he multiplies chaos. Give a disciplined man the same and he multiplies peace. The Stoics measured prosperity not by possessions but by restraint. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. Every unnecessary desire weakens your foundation." When you crave constantly, you live in scarcity. Even when surrounded by abundance, true wealth is calm. It's knowing you can live well with less. It's the quiet confidence of a person who owns their needs instead of being owned by them. So every time you reach for your card, ask, does this serve my strength or feed my weakness? Your answer will tell you exactly who's in charge, you or your cravings. The Stoics believed life was not about accumulation but contribution. The modern world has twisted that truth. You've been trained to consume endlessly, to chase the next upgrade, the next dopamine hit, the next illusion of progress. But creation, not consumption, is what gives life meaning. When you use your time and money to create a skill, a business, a solution, value for others, you align with nature's design, growth through effort. Seneca taught that wealth gained without purpose corrupts the soul, but wealth created through service refines it. So stop asking, how can I get more? And start asking, how can I build more? Every hour spent consuming drains you. Every hour spent creating multiplies you. You don't need more money. You need more mastery. Turn your energy from distraction into production, and watch your confidence rise faster than your bank balance. Creation is control in motion. Freedom begins the moment you stop needing more to feel enough. The Stoics called this apatheia, not indifference to life, but detachment from dependency. You can enjoy wealth, beauty, and comfort without being owned by them. That's real power. Most people confuse luxury with success, but luxury often masks insecurity. The man who needs less is always richer than the man who craves more. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote nightly reminders to remain humble, reminding himself that gold and fame fade, but virtue endures. Practice this mindset daily. Appreciate what you have. Use what you earn wisely and let go of what doesn't serve your mission. When you detach from the emotional pull of money, you start to see it for what it truly is. A tool, not a trophy. The freer you are from needing, the more authority you gain over everything. The mind is the command center, the empire within the empire. Every decision, every emotion, every habit begins as a thought. If your thoughts are undisciplined, your life will be too. Most people live as prisoners inside their own heads, trapped by fear, self-doubt, and endless noise. The Stoics called the mind a fortress. They believed guarding it was the highest form of strength. You wouldn't let a stranger walk into your home and rearrange your furniture, but you let random thoughts storm in and wreck your peace every day. Stop allowing it. You are not your thoughts. You are the gatekeeper of them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in it. So hold better thoughts, because every moment you allow negativity to linger, you reinforce weakness. Control begins here in the silence between one thought and the next. Your mind is a battlefield and your thoughts are soldiers. Some fight for your strength, others fight for your destruction. Most people let the enemy march right in. Self-doubt, comparison, fear, and then wonder why they feel defeated. The Stoics train their awareness like sentinels at the gate. They practice prosocial, constant attention to the present moment. Every thought was questioned. Is this useful? Is this true? Does it serve my purpose? If not, it was dismissed instantly. You must do the same. Don't entertain thoughts that insult your potential. You can't control what thoughts appear, but you can control which ones you feed. The weak mind reacts to every mental spark. The strong mind decides which fires deserve oxygen. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. The moment you start guarding your inner world, the outer world loses its power over you. Most suffering doesn't come from reality. It comes from the story you tell about it. Something happens and your mind rushes to label it as bad, unfair, hopeless. But the Stoic doesn't label. He evaluates. He separates fact from fiction. It's raining is neutral. This rain is ruining my day is your judgment. One destroys peace. The other preserves it. Marcus Aurelius mastered this by constantly reframing his thoughts. Every obstacle became training. Every challenge became opportunity. You can do the same. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what's the lesson? What's the strength I can build here? That shift alone can turn misery into momentum. You can't always control what happens, but you can always rewrite what it means. The mind that reframes reality controls reality. Stop being the victim of your interpretations. Start being the author of them. The story you tell becomes the life you live. Whatever you focus on expands. That's not motivation. It's neuroscience. The Stoics knew this long before psychology gave it a name. They practiced intentional perception, the art of choosing what to notice. Most people feed their minds a constant diet of noise, drama, complaints, negativity, and then they wonder why peace feels impossible. Your focus is your filter, and your filter shapes your world. If you fixate on problems, you'll drown in them. If you train your mind to seek progress, you'll start seeing paths where others see walls. Marcus Aurelius trained himself daily to notice what was within his control and to release the rest. That's selective attention, discipline at the thought level. You can't stop negative things from existing, but you can starve them of attention. The more you focus on what strengthens you, the smaller everything else becomes. Attention isn't just awareness, it's power. The most dangerous conversation you'll ever have is the one inside your head. Every time you think, I can't, I'm not ready, or I'll fail, you're wiring defeat into your nervous system. The Stoics knew this, that words spoken internally shape the structure of the soul. That's why Marcus, Seneca, and Epictetus all wrote to themselves. It wasn't vanity. It was mental conditioning. You must become your own coach. They not your critic. When your mind says, I can't handle this, answer back, watch me. When it whispers, I'm tired, say, good. That means I'm growing. Replace weakness with commands. Every self-directed word is a brick in your mental fortress. The mind obeys repetition, not emotion. So repeat strength, repeat courage, repeat clarity until it becomes instinct. You can't control every thought that arrives, but you can dominate the ones that stay. Speak power and your mind will follow. You can't think clearly if your mind is flooded with garbage. Every scroll, every headline, every argument leaves residue, clutter that fogs your focus. The Stoics practiced mental fasting just as seriously as physical discipline. They limited what they allowed into their minds because they knew input shapes outcome. Epictetus warned, if you wish to improve, be content to appear ignorant of things that do not concern you. That's not ignorance. That's intelligence. You don't need to know everything happening in the world. You need to know what's happening inside you. Each day, audit your mental diet. Ask yourself, what's feeding my strength? What's feeding my stress? Then cut the noise. The more silence you allow in, the louder your clarity becomes. Peace doesn't require a vacation. It requires filtration. Protect your mental space like sacred ground. Because once your focus is clean, your power is unstoppable. A disciplined mind doesn't just think, it directs. Thoughts are soldiers waiting for orders, and most people let them wander without leadership. The Stoics treated thought like strategy. They didn't dwell on problems. They executed on principles. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste energy wondering why things happened. He focused on what to do next. That's what separates thinkers from warriors. Every thought should lead to a command. Do this, change that. Let this go. If a thought doesn't serve action or growth, discard it. You're not here to overthink. You're here to overcome. Start using your mind like a weapon, not a mirror. It's not for reflecting chaos. It's for cutting through it. When you train your mind to think with direction, You stop drowning in possibility and start swimming in purpose. The Stoics didn't chase clarity. They created it through disciplined thought turned into decisive command. You can't erase a thought. You can only replace it. The Stoics mastered this truth long before psychology called it cognitive redirection. When a negative thought enters, don't fight it. Replace it with a stronger one. Fear says, "What if I fail?" You respond, "Then I'll learn faster." Doubt whispers, "You're not ready." You answer, "No one ever is." This is not delusion. It's discipline. You're choosing which thoughts deserve oxygen. The mind is a stage. You decide which voices get the spotlight. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That means every repeated belief stains your identity. Stop rehearsing weakness. Stop entertaining fear. Replace mental noise with command, gratitude, or focus. At first, it'll feel forced. Good. That means you're rewiring. Keep going. Thought by thought, you'll build a mind that obeys direction, not emotion. Your mind loves to time travel, replaying past regrets, rehearsing future fears. That's why most people feel powerless. They're never actually here. The Stoics called presence the gateway to strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Why? Because this moment is the only battlefield you can fight on. The past is gone. The future is fog. Right now is command. Every time you return to the present, you reclaim control. Anxiety can't survive here because it feeds on imagination. Guilt can't rule here because it depends on memory. The disciplined mind stays where its power works, the now. So when your thoughts spiral, stop. Look around, breathe. Name what you can see, hear, feel. You've just pulled your power back from illusion into action. The more you live in the present, the more the world slows down. And your focus sharpens like a blade. Your mind is no different from your body. It strengthens through resistance. Every distraction you resist, every fear you confront, every disciplined thought you repeat is a rep in the gym of mastery. The problem is most people never train. They let emotions lift the weight for them. They give in at the first sign of discomfort. The Stoics were mental athletes. They trained their perception daily. When pain came, they studied it. When failure came, they analyzed it. When anger rose, they controlled it. That's how they built unshakable composure. You can't build mental strength scrolling through comfort. You build it in silence or in struggle. In solitude, the harder the moment, the heavier the weight, and the greater the gain. Every disciplined thought is a curl of the soul. Keep training, because one day when chaos hits, your mind won't tremble. It will stand like stone. The greatest victory is ruling yourself. Not your enemies, not your environment, you. The undisciplined man is conquered by everything. By anger, by hunger, by distraction, by comfort. The Stoic is conquered by nothing. He feels emotions but doesn't serve them. He faces fear but doesn't obey it. That's inner command, the rarest and highest form of freedom. Marcus Aurelius governed millions. But his real empire was internal. That's why he could write, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Read that again. That's the code of the unstoppable. You want to lead others first. Command yourself. You want peace first. Silence your impulses. You want control? Then earn it through daily self-discipline. No one can crown you master of your mind. You have to fight for that title every single day through choice, through focus, through will. When you begin to master yourself, everything else shifts. The 4 pillars, mouth, mood, money, and mind, are not separate rooms. They're walls of the same fortress. Strengthen one and the others rise with it. Control your words and your emotions follow. Control your spending and your focus sharpens. Control your thoughts and your entire reality transforms. The Stoics called this sympathia, the interconnectedness of all things. Self-mastery is not an isolated pursuit. It's a chain reaction of order in a chaotic world. People around you will sense it. Your calm, your clarity, your certainty. You'll no longer need to announce your strength. It will radiate from your presence. And soon life itself starts responding differently. Opportunities appear. Respect deepens and peace becomes your natural state. Because when you master your inner world, the outer world begins to organize itself around your discipline. Mastery doesn't happen in revelation. It happens in repetition. The Stoics didn't wait for motivation. They built habits that made strength automatic. One pause before you speak. One deep breath before you react. One decision to save instead of spend. One thought redirected from fear to focus. Each act is small, but together they build the foundation of an unshakable life. Most people quit because they mistake consistency for boredom, but the wise know repetition is refinement. You don't rise once, you rise daily. Every moment of control compounds into power. 6 months of practice can turn chaos into clarity, doubt into discipline, fear into force. The Stoics live this truth. The man who rules himself once is inspired, but the man who rules himself every day becomes immortal in spirit. Keep showing up. Your habits are the soldiers building your empire of control. Weak people ask, why is this happening to me? The disciplined ask, how can I use this? That single shift separates the reactive from the resilient. Life doesn't owe you comfort. It offers you training. Every difficulty is a doorway to mastery if you choose to walk through it. The Stoics didn't run from hardship. They rehearsed it in their minds. Premeditio malorum, the practice of imagining challenges before they arrive. Why? Because preparedness kills panic when trouble comes. The untrained break. The Stoic simply nods. Ah, I was expecting you. He uses pain as resistance, frustration as fuel, and failure as feedback. That's the practitioner's mindset. Everything serves growth. Every insult, every loss, every delay becomes a rep in strength. Stop asking life for ease. Ask for endurance. You don't need a lighter load. You need a stronger back. That's Stoic power. Right now you stand at a crossroads. The same one Epictetus faced 2,000 years ago. On one side, reaction, comfort, distraction, the path of the many. On the other, responsibility, discipline, and sovereignty, the path of the few. One path feels easy today but costs you tomorrow. The other feels hard today but pays you forever. Freedom isn't gifted. It's forged through self-control. The Stoics didn't escape pain. They mastered it. They didn't demand the world change. They demanded they evolve. That's your choice now. You can keep living as a victim of your emotions, your impulses, and your environment, or you can rise as the commander of them all. The question isn't, can you change? It's, will you commit? Because once you decide, your power is immediate. The external world stops owning you. You become the master of your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind. This is where it begins, not with motivation, but with decision. 6 months from now, you'll either be the same person repeating the same patterns, or you'll be someone entirely different, grounded, disciplined, unshakable. The Stoics didn't wait for ideal conditions. They built strength in chaos. So stop waiting. Your future self is watching you right now, hoping you act. Mastery isn't mystical. It's mechanical. Every pause before you speak. Every emotion you regulate, every dollar you direct with purpose, every thought you rewrite. That's a brick in your fortress of control. Freedom doesn't arrive someday. It's built one choice at a time. Withdraw your permission for weakness. Reclaim authority over your own soul. The ancient Stoics prove this truth. No one can enslave the man who governs himself. Now it's your turn. Stand tall, breathe deep, and declare it aloud. I am the master of my mouth, my mood, my money, and my mind. And now it's your move. Don't just listen, act. Every truth in this video means nothing unless you live it. Mastery doesn't happen in your mind. It happens in motion. So start today. Choose one area, your words, your emotions, your money, or your thoughts, and take control of it before the day ends. Discipline begins the moment you decide to stop being who you were yesterday. Leave your thoughts below. Tell me which pillar you're mastering first. Your mouth, your mood, your money, or your mind. Your comment isn't just engagement. It's a declaration of commitment. And if this message hit you hard, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. Because transformation spreads when warriors rise together. Thanks for listening.